All right, good Friday evening. Gosh, this is Friday already. Friday evening, Meteorologist Jordan Evans here on our Facebook and YouTube channel from 7 News. First Alert Weather. We are tracking the storms, of course, that quickly moved through the DC area. It was in and out of here quickly. A lot of these storms were moving at highway speed. You can see the radar currently now. It's all over the eastern shore. Delaware is about to get hit with some of the strong winds, some of the hail. There's that low chance for an isolated tornado or two. There was a warning for the Baltimore area. Nothing was touched down. That's the good news. But of course, we did have some strong winds that went all the way from Baltimore to DC, down through southern Maryland, the northern neck, and even Fairfax County. Parts of northern Virginia did get some of those high winds as well. So now that we're behind the storms, we're behind the main line, now we're going to start to talk about damage, of course. A lot of those reports are now starting to come in from the National Weather Service, some of the local media partners, of course, the emergency management from the different counties, all starting to filter in their storm reports as we go over the next couple of hours. So Chief Meteorologist Veronica Johnson, she's going to be on at 10 o'clock and 11 to talk about some of the storm damage. And of course, our anchors will be here as well to go through anything else that really stood out, because a lot of us did see some of those trees come down, power outages. The power is still out in many parts of the DMV. And we did get some hail in some areas too. We did see about some $half size hail in parts of Fairfax County. At least as of now, in terms of power outages, time is 6:48 p.m. It looks like City of Alexandria is still about 15,000 customers. Just for the city, that's nearly a quarter of customers there in City of Alexandria. So 15,000 currently out from a report here. We also are looking at BGE, about 38,000 customers out, and Pepco looks like 23,000 out. And we'll have to check Dominion as well and see what outages may be happening right now in terms of storms or power outages. But again, the radar, that's the replay we saw from Frederick, Maryland to Gaithersburg. A lot of lightning, heavy rain. We did see some ponding on the roads. At least these storms were quick moving, so we did not see a ton of flash flooding. Now, we did have the flooding issues we had earlier in the week, but the good news is with these storms moving at highway speed, not a ton of time for that rain to fall and accumulate fast on the road. So at least flash flooding was not a big concern with this storm. But of course, when storms move quickly, that's when we can see the winds really start to pick up. All right, so here's some of the damage reports. I've zoomed things into the metro. We'll go through a couple of these, or potentially several of them, just to show you where some of the trees are down, where we do have some power outages, and we can show you some of the wind gusts that were observed from some of the local airports. And those wind reports, of course, verify the strength of the winds as the storms came through. So we'll go ahead and take a look at some of these reports here. Here's southern Fairfax County, this one at Lake Ridge. Numerous reports of trees down along Hampton Road. That came in at 5:15 this evening. So Hampton Road, lots of trees down. These are just a handful of reports. I'm sure there are several roads that are blocked by trees. There may be trees or even power lines down on some roads. Of course, the main thing with power lines is you do not want to get close to those, because, of course, they can still be active even as they come down. You don't want to try to drive over those. Here's another report from parts of Fairfax County. This was south of Alexandria. Franconia, public report of multiple trees snapped near the intersection of Franconia Road and Beulah Street. That was at 5:25 this evening. This one on the GW Parkway. This one we're going to have more on, I think, in our newscast as we continue to learn. Potentially some injuries with this report that may have came in on the GW Parkway. It looks like a tree came down on the intersection of George Washington Memorial Parkway and Morningside Lane. At least a tree fell onto a vehicle. So it's possible or likely that tree came down as the vehicle was driving. So there were probably people in that car as the tree came down, as that car was on the road. So again, this is on the way on the GW Parkway, on the way down toward Mount Vernon. So we're going to follow up on this report as we go throughout this evening. We have more reports here around Reagan National Airport. That's the wind gust up to 69 miles per hour. So that helped to verify the severe thunderstorm that was having wind gusts up to 70. So that's where we saw the considerable tag put on that severe thunderstorm. And even Montgomery County earlier saw that destructive severe thunderstorm warning. And that's going to send an alert to your smartphone, because you want to treat that type of severe thunderstorm like a tornado, because winds up to 80 miles per hour, that's equivalent to a weak tornado. So that can really cause damage. We'll have to see if any of the reports verified that destructive storm we saw in Montgomery County earlier. So again, National Weather Service continuing to update storm reports. It's not just DC, of course, reports going out for Baltimore. So I think over the next several hours or few hours through the rest of tonight, we're going to see a lot of these reports start to show up on the map. The Bailey Crossroads area, this is the hail report that we saw come in, 1.2 inches. That's nearly half dollar size. So we did get some hail out of this. We saw hail video from Potomac, Maryland earlier this evening. So at least some hail did fall in parts of the city. Here's some of the trees down that were in parts of Montgomery County, so south of Bethesda. This one at 529, a 1-foot diameter tree did come down. The report outside of Silver Spring, talking about power lines that were reported down in the Silver Spring area, one of which was a snapped power pole. So we may have some power outages as well in parts of Montgomery County. South of Wheaton, Maryland, north sides of the Beltway, Kensington in particular, a couple of trees down in Kensington. So again, if you do have reports, you can report those to your local emergency management, or you can call the National Weather Service with your report, or you can let us know here at 7 News, and we can forward that report to the National Weather Service as well. Again, a lot of damage we're going to be dealing with probably this evening. With trees down. Now, not everyone in the Beltway saw the storms, of course. It was mainly Montgomery County. Then the storm over Fairfax, that one intensified as it crossed over the Potomac River. So Prince George's County, probably some damage reports coming in soon. And then as we go out toward Annapolis, parts of Anne Arundel County, down toward Calvert County, that's where we'll probably see some more damage, as some of the radar estimates with wind speeds were anywhere from 70 to 75 miles per hour. So I would say lots of tree damage probably coming for Eastern Maryland over toward the Bay, as these storms did pick up speed. So that's what we have so far in terms of our storm reports. We had storms earlier today. That was in closer to the Pennsylvania state line. But storm reports all the way through Frederick, Maryland, Hagerstown, Martinsburg. We saw wind gusts anywhere from 50 to 60 in the Martinsburg area, and Winchester, Virginia. Even some trees damage reported outside of Winchester. Here's a report outside of Purcellville. So this is west of Highway 15. Hughesville, several trees snapped and uprooted on Hughesville Road just south of Lincoln. So again, Loudoun County also getting some of the tree damage as the storms came off the higher terrain. Let's take you back to the radar real quick, and then we'll show you Futurecast, what to expect for the rest of the weekend. Again, here at 7 News, we're going to continue to tally up these reports and try to get everything situated as we get on the air at 10 and 11 o'clock this evening. And I'll be back on tomorrow morning with Kelly Lynn. We'll have a lot more on storm damage tomorrow morning on 7 News at 8 o'clock, right before Good Morning America. Yes, we did see, of course, flights. There were cancellations, or at least ground stops, I should say, ground stops at the local airports. So a lot of the planes that could not land, they had to circle until the storms got out of here. But I think some of those have now lifted because we are seeing the storms now well into Eastern Maryland. All right, so let's take you back to Futurecast, and we will play out the rest of this evening into the overnight. So we're done with storms for this evening. So Friday night plans, you're getting out around 9 or 10 o'clock. We are done with storms tonight, so enjoy your Friday night. Clouds will decrease. We already see sun out there. Now, since it's rained and it was so hot today, it's going to be humid and quite muggy. The cold front does not come until tomorrow, and that's going to help bring in the drier air and help reset the atmosphere as we get into the weekend, with much better weather on the way for Saturday afternoon and your Sunday as well. Now, tomorrow morning, can we get a couple of more storms to move off the higher terrain? That is possible. The question is, can these hold? Will these hold together in terms of strength? I don't think so. The Storm Prediction Center has dropped their severe weather threat for us tomorrow, but still cannot rule out some heavy rain, some lightning, maybe some gusty winds if these storms can maintain around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So, of course, I'll be dealing with this in the morning if we have those storms moving through the D.C. area, but they will not be likely a repeat of what we saw today, or at least this afternoon here in D.C. Futurecast for the rest of your Saturday, you can see the clouds will be out of here by 10 or 11 o'clock. We are drying out for the afternoon. The winds will pick up slightly tomorrow behind this cold front, so I do expect some wind gusts around 30 to 35 miles per hour tomorrow afternoon. But temperatures look pretty comfortable, still in the low 80s as the humidity starts to drop. So very nice for your Saturday night. Just a few passing clouds. Here's Sunday in the afternoon. Just as you can see, passing clouds once again. May still have some breezy winds Sunday, around 25 to 30 miles per hour, and temperatures look to be in the low 80s once again for this weekend. As we go into next week, though, unfortunately, it looks like things may start to cool off. We'll show you the 7-day forecast real quick here before I sign off of Facebook Live and YouTube. As we go throughout the week, of course, we have Memorial Day weekend happening next weekend. So here's what that looks like. Actually, let me get this better situated so I can not cover up some of the graphics here. And yeah, Memorial Day weekend, that is next weekend. And some of the signs are already saying that we may have some cooler air to deal with right before Memorial Day weekend. Temperatures only in the low 60s right now. Wednesday, Thursday, could have a weather maker coming in with some rain. But can we get that rain out if you're just in time for the weekend? We'll hope so. Right now, Friday's dry at 66, and I do think temperatures may start to climb back into the 70s by next Saturday and Sunday. So could be on the chilly side for Memorial Day weekend here in D.C. Of course, a lot of families going out to the beaches for the unofficial start of summer. Memorial Day weekend, Rehoboth and Ocean City. So we'll have to check on the beach forecast as we go throughout this weekend and into next week as well. That'll do it for us here on Facebook Live and YouTube. So Chief Meteorologist Veronica Johnson, she'll be back on the air 10, 11 o'clock with the latest on storm damage, your weekend forecast again, of course, and as we go into next week.